Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. So we're going to be on a bit of a scavenger hunt today back in the woods looking for a white oak tree to bring back out, throw it on the sawmill, and mill into 6x6 white oak posts. Now what we're going to be using these for is the front porch of the new garage that we're going to be starting construction in about a month. The look we're going for on the front porch is kind of a rustic timber frame look. However, the entire garage and the front porch is going to be post and beam construction. So these pillars or beams that we're putting in aren't actually going to have any structural support. They're going to be purely decorative. So I'm not too concerned about having them be kiln dried or stamped as long as they're not providing any support, which they won't be. So let's show you the plan for today. So here's the setup we've got for today. This is going to be a very low impact logging setup, which is perfect for this time of the year because as you can see, even though we've got a little bit of snow on the ground is no longer frozen and it's just straight mud. So this is going to be a lot safer than bringing the tractor back here, because if the tractor starts breaking traction coming back down the hill with a heavy white oak log in the grapple, there's just no stopping it. So this log arch was provided to us by Boardwalk when they dropped off the sawmill, and we haven't really had a chance to try it out yet because we've been so busy with the pond, you know, finishing up in the fall and then actually enjoying it and using it ice skating this winter. So I'm excited to get back in the woods and try this out, hauling out a white oak log. Let's see how it does. All right, so we're back in the woods with the saw and the tow arch, and this is the white oak log that we've picked out. As you can see, it's got a pretty nice straight base to it, a little bit of a crook there, and then it branches out and spreads into two other nice smaller trunks. Probably if I'm looking for 6x6s, I can definitely get probably 2 or 3 6x6s out of those up there, and then I'll probably be able to get 3 or 4 out of the base here. But that's not without issue. We do have a maple tree here that we're going to need to take down. That way this tree has a clear path to fall and hopefully it's not going to get hung up. Like I said, we're just back here with the side-by-side, so we don't have really heavy enough equipment to get back here and pull down a hung up tree. Well, this little maple tree ended up getting hung up in those grapevines and that other tree up there, but that's all right. We've got it loosened up. It's going to come down as soon as we go ahead and cut this white oak tree. This one's going to fall into this one and hopefully take both of them down at the same time. Now, even though my notch work and hinge work wasn't super professional, look where this tree landed. Right on top of that maple stump. So my aiming is good, but my chainsaw work not the best. So now I want to cut these down to 12-foot logs for the sawmill. Right now is when I could really use that homemade loggers tape that Doug made. Doug! Doug!
Who the heck's hollering for me?
You bring the loggers tape with you.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, actually I did. I heard a chainsaw running, so I started running. I grabbed my loggers tape and I thought I'd come over and see what all the commotion was. This is the 12.
Feet, 11, 12. I'll make a cut there.
Yeah, go about 12.6. I don't know where to run it back. Hook it? Yeah, I guess you can hook it. If you let that down some, I'm not sure where it's going to rest. Just like that. Like we knew what we were doing. You're tight on there.
Well, that's not too bad for the first time ever using one of these. It didn't take too long to figure out. It's pretty user friendly. Basically, you use the winch to hook around the tree. You want to make sure you're on the front half of the tree so it's lifting up the nose. Once you get it up in the air, take one of these choker chains, wrap it around, and cinch up the front end, and then come back here and cinch up the back end. And as you can see, when we start dragging this out of the woods, we're not going to be tearing up the trails because that's a good foot up off the ground. The only thing that's going to be dragging is, you know, out of this probably 2,000-pound log, maybe a couple 100 pounds here on the butt end of the log. So pretty low impact way to get lumber out of your woods. Well, I tell you what, guys, that log arch is slick. I mean, talk about low impact. Look at all the more that this is dragging on the ground here. I mean, there's just like a little smearing of mud and that's it. I'll be curious to see what the bottom of this log looks like when we get it off. But I bet you there's, the only bit of mud that's gonna be on this log is gonna be from right about here, the last 6 inches on this log. That worked really well. I would not want to be taking the tractor back in the woods on a day like today. So we're gonna go ahead and put some blocking underneath this log so it makes getting the winch out and setting the log down easier. Plus it's gonna make picking it up easier with the tractor later when we go to put it on the mill. Assuming we don't roll off of the blocking. Well, that is a pretty slick setup. I definitely think I'll be able to get my 5 or 6 6x6s that I need. This pole here is 18 inches at the small end and at the big end. It is a perfect cylinder. This one over here, the small one is probably about 8 inches, then that one is 9 inches, and then both of these ones were 11 inches. So right here, there's 4 6x6s at least, and I'll be able to get, I'm not sure, either 2 or 4 6x6s out of this one here. Now, I'm definitely not going to be able to keep up with professional loggers, but I'll tell you what, once I get the chains hooked up to this and start moving with the side-by-side and that log arch, I bet you I could beat a skidder out of the woods with a load of logs. The biggest downside and the most time-consuming part to this whole process was feeding the winch cable underneath the log. Now, what we started doing, and it actually worked out pretty well, was rolling the log all the way to the left, putting the winch cable just on the ground, and then rolling the log over top of it. That seemed to work out pretty well. That's what we started doing. What would work even better is if I had a timber jack, something that you could leverage up and get that log up off the ground. And then once you get the winch cable underneath it, the rest is cake. I also found with the narrow wheelbase of the log arch, backing this thing up is not that much fun, but it's balanced so well that what I started doing was just disconnecting it from the hitch on the side-by-side, and it's got a handle right there, and it's really easy to pick up. These tires are nice and big. You can push it by hand right over top of the logs, hook it up, and then rehook up the side-by-side and yank them out. But yeah, that is the first time we've used this log arch by Easy Boardwalk. I will leave a link down in the description if anybody's interested. It's one of those things, the more you use it, the quicker you'll get with it. This one probably took twice as long as this one, and these ones took twice as long as those ones. So the more you use it, the more familiar you get. But anyway, I think that's gonna about wrap this one up. We'll go ahead and get these logs on the mill and turn them into the 6x6s we're looking for in the next video. If you guys enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.